Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. So today we're going to go over some things that are probably really boring and that a lot of you probably aren't going to be very interested in, but it's something that I want to go over with you. It's a bunch of information that I obtained trying to figure out what's going on. Let me back up. So the last video I put out, I got the engine in the truck and it won't run. And I didn't do anything to the truck other than pull it out and take the engine out and put it back in. It won't run. It kind of idles sometimes, but it won't run. So I did get it to idle long enough to produce a code P1300, which is a igniter malfunction. So what I'm going to go over with you guys today, just a little backstory there, by the way. So what I'm going to go over today is how to test the igniter and how to test the coil circuit and injector circuit through the igniter, and also test the circuit between the computer and the igniter. Because that's all stuff you're going to, if you run across any runnability problems, or if you have the same scenario like I do where it doesn't want to run, this could be very useful in helping you figure out how to diagnose the problem. Alright, so the first thing you're going to want to do is check the basics. Do you have spark? Now, I'm lazy, so I didn't pull the plenum to do some of this testing. I just tested the injectors and the coils around the plenum, just for the simple, just to keep things simple. So what I used is just a simple spark tester. It's just an inline spark tester. I like these because that way if it does run, it's sitting on all six and you're not fouling plugs and shit like that. And then I just have your basic cheap eBay, or not eBay, fucking Harbor Freight noise set to test the injectors. So in my particular case, I was getting one flash on number 1 and number 6 injector, and that was it. It would just flash once and that was it. And I would get spark randomly on number 2 and number 6, just every once in a while. No consistency. It should flash every time it's supposed to spark. So anyhow, check those things first, because you may just have a bad coil or a bad injector, or maybe a bad injector pigtail, something like that. But if you have a case where mine, where I'm not getting any spark or injector trigger to pretty much anything on a consistent basis, then you want to go ahead and dive into this procedure I'm talking about. Or if you can get it running long enough to get a code, then that would really help out a lot as well. Okay, now that we've taken care of the basics, let's get in a little deeper.
So this is the connector for the igniter. You might want to screenshot this for the testing portion of what I'm going to go over, just to make it a little easier to understand what I'm talking about. This is the wiring that goes to the igniter plug and what they all go to. This will also help in explaining my diagnosis.
Okay, so for a lot of this testing I'm going to be doing, I'm just going to be doing a lot of circuit testing, making sure there's no broken wires, because, well, when you take an engine out and put an engine in, you have the chances of breaking wires and not knowing it. So to do, this is an ancient fluke meter, but anyhow, to do a circuit test, I like to just go to the diode setting. So that way, how the diode setting works is when these touch together, you know you have a circuit. Okay, now that we got that basics out of the way. So the first thing it wants to do is to make sure that there's no open or short on the IGF or IGT circuit, which is on the, this is the igniter plug. It's the black with blue wire, which is the 1, 2, 3, fourth one to the right. So between that and on the first plug on the computer, there is a black with blue wire right, what the hell is it? Right here, this guy right here. So it'd be the third one, fourth one over from the right on the very bottom row. I know it's kind of hard to see, but so you're gonna stick that in there like that, and go over to this guy. And as you can hear, I have a circuit. Just make sure that there's a circuit between the computer and the igniter. Real basic. Okay, so your next test is going to be to plug the igniter in, and then on that same black and blue wire, you're going to want to back probe into here and turn the key on, and then check for voltage here. So do the red to this and then ground the black terminal for your meter. And if the voltage is between 4.5 and 5.5, then the igniter is bad. If the voltage is not 4.5 to 5.5, then the ECU is bad. Okay, so the next thing you're going to want to do is you want to do a do a circuit test between these three wires in the middle of the igniter connector. You have gray and black, black and red, and black and yellow. These three on the igniter connector between here and the connector on the ECU. And those wires here they're on the second row off to the right. So here is the black and yellow, there's the black and red, and this is the gray with black. Your connector may be a little different than mine, but so on the second row from the right, it'll be the second, third, and fourth. So you want to check between here and here, make sure that the wires are good. If they are, then you're in good shape. If they aren't, then you need to find the break in the wire and repair as necessary. Okay, so this next one, I never figured it out, to be completely straightforward and honest with you. It says to disconnect the igniter and then back probe on the ECU off of terminal 11, whichever one that is, off terminal E7, is the white, green, yellow, and green, white. And while the engine's cranking, should have 0.1 to 4.5 volts. I never found them in here, and I can't crank the engine over and test this anyway, but I wanted to be upfront and honest, and at least tell you that there is the test for that. If that fails the test, then it's an ECM, and buy an ECM and retest it. Okay, after that, the next test is to take this off, and while the engine's cranking, this black with white wire, which is the second one from the left, while cranking, should measure between 9 and 14 volts, basically ignition source power. If it does not have that, then find your broken wire and proceed to the next step. So the next part is we're going to test between the igniter and the coils. This is what the pin looks like.
So pins 5, 6, and 7 are the inputs for the computer. And as it says on here, 1, 2, and 10 are for the coils. This is the far left plug on the computer that we were doing the testing earlier. But pins 20, 30, 40, 50, and 60 are all the ground triggers for the fuel injectors from the computer. So you're going to want to pin test those pins. So like number 20 would go to number 2 injector, number 30 would go to the 3rd injector, etc. So those are the ones you want to use to pin test the injectors to the computer, just to make sure that the wiring is A-OK. This is the next plug over, and 10 and 20 operate number 1 and number 2 fuel injectors. Okay, so now that we've gone over all of the testing procedure, now to what's going on with the truck. So
as you guys saw, I rebuilt the motor, got it put in the truck, and it doesn't run. Obviously, that's why I'm doing all this testing. Everything that I did testing-wise said that the immobilizer was bad. I bought a used one off of eBay, and it did not change the way it ran. So I thought maybe the computer was bad, so I sent it out to have it redone. It wasn't that expensive to do, so I figured, what the hell. I sent it out. The fella that looked at it said it was junk, that he couldn't fix it, blah, blah, blah. There was a bunch of shit wrong with it. So I was like, okay, fine. So I got another computer with another transponder and put them in, and the truck does exactly the same thing. So I thought maybe we had a fuel injector problem. So instead of taking the old ones out and have them tested, I bought a set of them. I got all 6 of them for a pretty damn good deal. Put them in, ran the truck. It idled for quite a while and set the P1300 code again. So I went through all this testing that I just showed you guys again, and everything says it's okay, other than all the wiring's good, everything's doing what it's supposed to. So I have a igniter coming, a Toyota one, brand new. So hopefully it'll be here in the next couple of days, and we can plug that damn thing in, and hopefully this thing will run. Because I've been trying to figure this out for 2 months now. The engine's been put together, and so anyhow, I hope that this helps you diagnose your problem. I really appreciate you sticking through and watching this, and hopefully in the next video we'll plug the new igniter in and we'll get this thing running.